Last night I was watching a video with Rand Paul. He was introducing Mark or interviewing Mark Cuban, and Mark made the statement that when a bubble occurs, it occurs as a result, and at least in past history, as a result of liquidity, too much liquidity, too much money. He made the point that the dot-com bubble was so much money available chasing assets that had no value, and then the bubble burst. The subprime crisis was too much money chasing real estate. You had people with multiple rental homes that had no money invested in them and had little interest payments, and then the bubble burst. So it's what I'm choosing to call a cash storm. There's such an abundance of money looking for some place to go, and it finds a place, and it creates overvalued assets. And then when the correction comes, the bubble bursts, the market crashes, everybody stands around and says, why didn't I see that? Well, I think there are ways you can see it. And that's what I want to cover in this video today. I want you to be aware that it's going to happen. Is it going to happen anytime soon? I don't think so. And I think I know exactly what's going to happen to tell me when it's going to burst. And so I can get out of the way and go to duck and cover and be safe. So that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. I'm building not really a YouTube channel. I'm building a place that you can come to good financial information. I'm building a team. I'm building a network of people. Right now we have about 18,000 who come to our Discord, and we exchange ideas. This morning I told them I was going to do this video on the cash storm and gave them a little bit of outline. I'm going to do later this afternoon a live stream. We'll talk more about it then, and then this video will come out on Saturday. So stay with me. If you want to be a part of our tribe, though, let me tell you, go to bestofusinvestors.com. In there, you'll find a place to give me your email address and your name. And then I'll send you a link so that you can become a member of our tribe. And you can decide if you want to pay the premium and see my portfolio and my trades and all that. That's up to you. But give me a second here, and then we're going to talk about the cash storm.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
I think the best way I can visually share the cash storm with you is I'm going to ask you to go to www.usdebtclock.org. There you're going to find a second-by-second running count of our national debt, our state debt, our GDP, everything financial relative to the United States. In fact, there's a link that they'll take you and show you the same information for other countries in the world. But in the upper left-hand corner, I'm looking at it behind my camera right now, you're going to see a number. It's at 27 trillion. 898,427. You'll see it. That number, 21 years ago, January of 2000, was $4 trillion. Now understand, it took us 200 years to get to $4 trillion. At 2008, as we entered the subprime crisis, it was at 8 trillion. So it doubled in 8 years. When we arrived at 2020, it was 20 trillion. So in the last 9 months, really, it has added 7 trillion, almost 900 billion. 7,900 billion in 9 months. Again, remember, it took us 200 years to get to 4 trillion, and we added almost 8 trillion in 9 months. I would be willing to bet that that number will be somewhere around 32 trillion by this time next year. So that's the easiest way for me to get you to understand a cash storm. So what that means is there's cash raining down on us. Okay, it's being printed digitally in every country in the world, and it's being pushed out to its citizens. But it has to end up somewhere. And that's where it turns into a storm. You get it and you pay for your groceries. And you maybe buy some gas for your car. You possibly pay your mortgage, whatever. But then it trickles down to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And then it ends up in someone's hands that doesn't need it. They don't need to buy groceries with it. They don't need to buy gasoline or even a new car. They just got too damn much money and they need to do something with it. Well, where does it go? Well, I looked at several stocks, several of my favorite stocks, and I said, okay, if this started printing in March, this $7.8 trillion, where did that go? Well, Amazon stock is up since March 93.8%. Google 93%. Microsoft 80%. Tesla 815%. Facebook 86%. NEO 2,045%. And Square 530%. And you can throw some else in there. Zoom, Peloton, Airbnb. That's where that money went. Okay? So, all right, I've benefited from that because I own those stocks. But wait, that didn't take care of it all. There's still more. What are we going to do with all that money? Well, why don't we start a SPAC? A Spock? Like Dr. Spock? No. It's spelled a little different. Colin Kaepernick said he wants to raise, hey, give me 250 million of that. I want to start a SPAC. Shaquille O'Neal raised his hand and said, no, me. I want $250 million to create a SPAC. And then Pershing Square, they got $4 billion for a SPAC. What's a SPAC? It's a company that's made no money. It's got a good idea, though. And if we can raise this money, we can take it public, and then you can play in it. You can be a part of it. Does that sound like a cash storm? People lining up who have no qualifications whatsoever saying, I need $250 million to help my brother-in-law bring his company public. That's a cash storm. And that's all okay. Yeah, I've invested in some of them. Yeah, it's okay. There's one I invested in. They're going to shoot rockets up into the air. And then I got another one, a 3D printer I'm going to get into. He can print a rocket. Print a rocket in 6 months. It normally takes them like 4 years to build a rocket. But this dude can print one and then put low orbiting satellites up so that we can have a better internet. That's good. As long as the cash storm continues, we're good. Hey, I'm up over 20% in the first, 40 days of the year? I'm up 20%. The S&P has a history of 9% per year for the last 90 years, and I'm up 20% in the first 40 days? That's not right. That's not right. And it's also not right that Bitcoin is up 423%. One Bitcoin costs $46,000. Does that make any sense to you? What is a Bitcoin? Do you get a coin? No. There are miners. What do? Do they use picks and shovels? No. Most of them are in China. and they're on computers, and they're mining this Bitcoin for you. Now, there's only so many shares. There's only so many coins, just like there's only so much land. And God isn't making any more, and apparently God isn't making any more Bitcoin, so it's worth $46,000. No, it's worth $100,000 for this non-existent coin. Does this sound like a cash storm? So much money. People are inventing places to put it. No, they're not building companies. They're inventing places to put, giving you a place to put your $46,000 that has no value other than, I think it's worth $50,000. Okay, then I'm going to give you $50,000 for your $46,000. And what do I get? Nothing. Nothing. A promise. A place to store value. Okay. And where is that place? It's in cyberspace. Okay. There must be a cash storm going around here. People have so damn much cash, they don't know what to do with it. So they're spending it like it's never going to end. Wait a second. Is that the key? It's going to end? This cash storm's going to end? What's going to end? What is it going to look like when it ends, so I know when to get out? So I know when to duck and cover. When the whole world is going to collapse on top of me, and I want something of value. How am I going to know that? I'm going to tell you, the first signal that the cash storm is about to end is right there. Dr. Fauci will say, Carrie, you can take your mask off. Carrie, you don't need that mask anymore. We have cured the pandemic. That's the first notice that the storm is going to end. The cash is going to stop coming. What's the second one? Joe Biden is going to step up and say, the economy is back on its feet. The stimulus worked. We can stop it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That clock's going to stop moving so damn fast. It's going to slow down. The cash storm is going to slow down, and there isn't going to be the money. Jerome Powell is going to say, this economy's back up on ground. Unemployment's coming down. We're going to raise interest rates. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All those people who have borrowed all that money for 2% or less are now going to have to pay, historically, 8%. The toilet just flushed. The cash storm is over. You need to find another place to shelter, to duck and cover. Moratorium on evictions and foreclosures is lifted. Banks can now foreclose. Landlords can now evict. The toilet just flushed. The cash storm is over. Real estate prices are going down because there's a flood of real estate. Rents are going down because we evicted those people who can't afford. And so the people who were thrown out of their houses now become renters. We got to bring our price of our rent down so that they can have a place to live. The cash storm is over. Unemployment is down, so people are working now. The stimulus is over. The food banks are closing. People are working. We don't need to support them, so there's no stimulus needed for the food banks. The cash storm is over. Colin Powell and Shaquille O'Neal were unsuccessful in raising their $250 million for their SPACs. Oh, there's no money available to not Colin Powell, Colin Kaepernick and Shaquille. Business bankruptcies are on the rise. Second page of the Wall Street Journal. Business bankruptcies are on the rise. SPACs are no longer happening. We had 219 SPACs raise $73 billion. That's a fraction. That's a fraction of the 12 or of the 7 trillion. 219 SPACs raised $73 trillion in 2021. And we're going to kick the butt out of that number in 2020. That was 2020. 2021 will be even bigger SPAC because the cash storm is continuing. Bitcoin, now it's, if you aren't out now, you're going to get out soon because Bitcoin will lose 75% of its value. Why? Why? Because I need that money or my company's going to go bankrupt. I need that money because they're evicting and they're foreclosing on me. I need that money. And Bitcoin's going to crash. Is it here for the future? Probably. But it ain't going to be $50 million or $50,000 a coin much longer. Once it crashes, Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla will lose 25% of their value. That's how you will know the cash storm is over. The first indication will come from Dr. Fauci. Okay? Folks, when times are too good to be true, they're too good to be true. The dot-com bubble was too good to be true. The subprime crisis, the free real estate. Remember the Dire Straits song, Money for Nothing and the Chicks for Free? That don't last forever. The chicks just aren't for free forever, and the money never is for nothing. There's always a day of reckoning, and that day of reckoning will come. Is it in the next 6 months? No. Is it probably within the next year? Probably not, because Dr. Fauci isn't going to tell me to take this mask off anytime soon. We got other variants to deal with. We aren't through this storm. We aren't through it. But I want you to know the telltale signs when it's coming to an end, because it will come to an end. There must be a correction. There is a day of reckoning. Okay. I'm glad I got that off my chest. I needed to share that. So, if you like this kind of video that gives you kind of a heads up, I'm not telling you what NEO is going to be worth next week or next year. I want to give you good, sound financial advice. I then want to help you to keep more of what you make by understanding our tax code. If this storm occurs, you need to be in a position to liquidate. I hope these stocks, that marginal stocks, exponential growth stocks that we've been so lucky to buy early on, are inside of a 401k or a IRA, some sort of a qualified account, so you're not hammered by short-term capital gains. You need to know how to invest your money, and then you need to have a goal, because this is going to be a wonderful event. We're going to reset. We're going to take the stocks that I have made 400% on in the last 40 days, and I'm going to be able to sell them inside of my IRA and collect that profits, and then they will reset down, and I'll be able to buy them back after the cash storm ends. That's a good thing. That's smart investing. That's going to help me to achieve my goal of generating $24 million that Nita and I can pass on to our heirs. And that should be your goal. So, if you like this way of thinking, go to bestofusinvestors.com. No, stop. First, give us a thumbs up, and then subscribe, and then go to bestofusinvestors.com. Give me your name and your email address, and I'll send you a link to our Discord. We got about 18,000 people there now, exchanging ideas, learning together to become better investors, and competing with Wall Street. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.